talking to ducks. Sergey, please. He'll be telling you about Docker and his great love for this tool. Thank you. To start off, let's play a game to energize everybody. We're tired by the end of the day. I, the people of Rostov, our compatriots. The game first. Let's put the quiz up on screen. Please show the QR code. It's pretty straightforward. Scan the code and enter your name. I hosted an info security quiz once, and people provided their names like SQL injection, drop database, things like that. So yeah, do join. The prizes are lucrative. You have to be fast and correct, of course. Both parameters are scored. I love this cloud. It's very dynamic. Who do we have here? And it's on Docker security, obviously. Let's light the room up. I'll give you a couple more minutes. Right. So, are you ready? Everybody ready? Let's start. Remove the QR code. And we'll launch the quiz. If you enter a space in bash before the command and execute, it'll execute but not save. It'll execute and save, not execute. Nothing will happen. Okay, you see security guys there, 29 people gave the correct answer. It will execute, but it will not save in history. Not very obvious. Doesn't click the slides. Did I do this? Okay. To isolate containers, you use namespaces, capabilities, and you need to enter the name. Again, correct answers are preferable. If you don't care about the scores, you can enter whatever. And there are reactions available. I remember there was someone under the name I am frontender, and they were keeping C groups. C group, just one, okay. A Parma. Okay. Here's the leaderboard. The race is on. What namespaces in Docker are looked up by default? Time, UTS, user, chroot. Maybe some of those are not namespaces at all. Yeah, people try to raise their hands. So? Time and user, yes. And time space was added recently. They just added it to Linux. It used to be like this. You might have seen this. You had to mount time. Don't have to do this anymore. You can check this through LSNS. You'll see that namespace IDs match, and there aren't any others, so you can get a hands-on experience. So just to make sure that I'm telling you the truth.
Значит, какой командой можно залезть в
What
контейнер?
command can be used to get into a container? Attach, exec, and center, connect, ctr task exec. It doesn't give you the keys, obviously. Assume the keys.
Можно несколько ответов выбирать здесь, да.
Multiple answers, yes.
Так, docker exec, да.
Okay.
Да, то есть
Right. Attach and exec are native commands, and center is a Linux command. You can connect through this to a namespace of the container. And ctr tasks, that's container D, has a utility in the console that you can use to get in.
Мы, кстати, сегодня залезем в контейнер. Если вы видели, вот мы забыли в начале.
We'll be getting into a container today. This box is also a Docker container, and somebody will get in.
Итак, что делает expose в Docker
What does expose do in Docker file?
Когда, короче, про expose говорят что-то не то.
You know, I'm always triggered when they mischaracterize it. And announces the used ports, opens ports, or there is no such directive. I just came up with it on the spot.
Так, правильно, что да, она объявляет.
Yeah, it announces the ports that are used. It even says in the books where people claim that expose opens them. It triggers me like I cannot describe. Oh, new contender in the leaderboard. The official documentation says that it just publishes the port or declares them. What directive in Docker file is more secure? Add copy, SCP copy, and write.
Или я опять какую-то придумал.
Are they all real?
Так. И, кстати, одну из них хотят уже скоро деприкировать.
One of them is to be soon deprecated, by the way. Yeah, copy. That's the directive. SCP and copy and write are made up. They don't exist. But they sound legit, don't they? Copy is safer. It just copies. The other one can download and back, can do all sorts of things.
Ага. Сейчас.
Minor adjustment. How to make add more secure. No way, add checksum, add secure, or use add secure. There are many keys in Docker commands. I looked them up. I don't know them all. Very many keys, and most of them are very useful, including this one.
Так.
So,
Ага, никак не сделать, да.
no way to do that. Yeah. But you can add checksum. You'll check the hash sum, and it'll be better than before. The other two are made up again.
Так, о, отлично.
Okay, we have a new contender. Again, the race is on.
Что делает директива on
What does on build does in Docker file? Launches commands when compiling a data image, immediately runs the instructions, does distress, or there is no such instruction.
Кстати, кто-нибудь пользуется on билдом? Есть такие.
Do you use on build? Any people?
Я тоже не пользуюсь.
Anyone? I don't use it either.
Да, все правильно. Она запустит команды.
It runs commands when a daughter image is assembled, and you can cram many bad things into there. So whoever takes your image, they'll get a package in the mail.
Так, сомнительно. Дальше.
So,
Ага. Так, сейчас. Так, что будет? Значит, взяли, скопировали пинг.
what will happen with that ping? You copy it,
Пробивали localhost.
you
Что
run it,
случится?
you ping
Потому
localhost.
что,
What will happen?
как бы разбираясь в Docker Security, надо еще разбираться и в Linux, и понимать про
Because
безопасность.
you need to
Поэтому
know
важно эти
Linux
тонкие
on
штуки
top of Docker
понимать.
security.
Вот, значит, попингуется
There is some nuance there.
ошибка,
It'll ping,
какая
there's
конкретно
going to
вообще,
be this
это
critical
даже не
error,
выполнится.
or it's just not executable.
Так, на самом деле будет, да, socket operation not permission.
There's going to be
Причем
this
раньше
socket
эта
operation
штука
not
была
permitted.
за счет того, что в пинге стоял suite bit. Вот,
It used to
поэтому
be
suite
due to
bit
suit
копирования
bid
не
in the
копировались.
ping,
Вот.
and they
Сейчас
didn't
это потому
copy
что там стоит
over.
capabilities, которые
Now
нужно
it's
пингнуть,
because there are
чтобы
capabilities
пингнуть.
that the ping
Вот. Но сейчас
function needs,
копирования они тоже не попадают,
but
поэтому
did not get into there when copied.
Так. Да, вот видно, кстати.
Here it is,
Так, сейчас,
close up.
секунду. Так, и какого бита для настройки прав не
Which
существует?
bit for configuration
Стики бита или
of
стики
rules
бит?
of rights doesn't exist?
Даже не знаю, столько всего.
Too many bits.
Ну, какой-то я вообще взял и выдумал.
Again, one is made up.
Так.
So,
Все правильно, не существует сет гуида, потому что я
Set
его выдумал. Но он звучит очень плохо.
GUID. I made it up, but it sounds plausible again, as always.
Ага.
Nice.
Так, виден ли процесс в контейнере со стороны хоста? Виден, не виден?
Does the host see the process in the container? Yes?
То, что
No?
просто взяли, запустили
How would I
контейнер,
know?
не знаю, там...
You stand the container,
Infinity, да, и в хосте
Docker run Alpine Sleep Infinity, and you
Будет ли виден
try to look up the
процесс?
process in the host. Will it be visible there?
Так, отличные у четырех лапки.
Yeah,
Так,
poor
да, всё
people
правильно, будет виден.
wouldn't know or care.
Покажите лапки.
It is visible.
Так, отлично. Так,
Who about it? For not caring.
ну должны быть веселые варианты, иначе зачем это? То есть можно, конечно, и наугад сжать, и то есть если сильно
A
вкачаться в
quiz
удачу,
doesn't make sense if you
выиграть. Значит,
don't
если
include
процесс
funny
в контейнере,
options.
значит, Docker run
If you
Alpine
boost
ID.
your luck, you
Вот
can
тут есть локальную учетку,
randomize it.
значит, просто взял, запросил ID, значит, под кем выполнится.
What's the ID that it runs in the container? Backup root or it will not run?
Я, кстати, так участвовал в квизе по фронтенду, вот, и занял аж третье
I
место.
took a quiz on front end like this,
Но я занял третье место.
and I took third place from the bottom, because I'm a backender. But yeah, that was fun anyway. So, if your luck stats are high, you might well get lucky. Root, yes. By default, it runs as root.
Так, значит, а root в контейнере, root на хосте одинаковый или кто-то круче?
Root
В контейнере
in
круче, на хосте
container
круче, одинаковый,
and
или вот последний
root
вариант,
at host,
тех, у кого лапки, вот,
which is more powerful.
что вообще происходит?
Container, host, same, whatever is root.
Казалось бы, и там root, да, вот что может быть?
It might seem that they're both roots. What could be the difference?
На хосте круче. А кто
It's
знает,
more
почему на хосте
powerful
круче?
host side. Do you know why?
Все правильно, capabilities, да, потому
Yeah,
что... Ну, потому что,
capabilities.
представьте, да, докер-контейнер, докер часть capabilities
When you start it,
отрезает лишних, поэтому
Docker
там меньше. То есть у него там всего,
trims
я помню,
some of
40,
the
а
unwanted
если это
capabilities,
остальных
so it's
400 всего.
14 out of 40 something, 1 4 or 0.
Так,
So
вот, да,
it,
действительно видно. Вот,
it gives you some additional security.
можно прямо это
If you
прочувствовать.
enter cap sh, you'll get first-hand experience of that.
Так, ну и какое слово рутов сделает одинаковыми?
So,
тут надо просто написать
what word
слово.
makes the roots
Вот, я
equal?
как-то видел,
Just
там,
type in
обычно
anything.
пожалуйста, там,
People
или
answer
если
like
там,
pretty please, pseudo,
сделай одинаковый. Вот все.
make them equal.
Кстати, каждый раз пишут судо.
I get pseudo each time,
Так,
right?
Да, вот, кстати, видите, судо. Вот, на самом
Sudo,
деле,
of
да,
course.
на самом деле это privileged вернет обратно
Privileged,
вот эти все
of course.
отобранные capabilities.
It'll restore all the capabilities that were trimmed.
Так, ага, вот видите. Вот сразу видно вот безопасник.
Okay,
Кто-то пытался
we
вот
see a
инжектить,
security guy
короче.
there. Someone
Отлично.
tried to make an injection.
Отлично, отлично. Так.
Nice.
Значит, что позволит связать два контейнера на
What
разных
allows you to
без
bind two containers at different hosts without
два хоста на одном
using
докер-ран
outward
запустили, на другом
ports?
докер-ран
Two hosts,
контейнер. То есть
Docker
одного,
run
например, запустили
each,
Nginx, а со второго
and
попытались
Nginx in one container, and you try to use curl to call Nginx, but the ports are not shared. How can you connect the two containers without
Вот вариант.
port forwarding? Here are the options.
Так, все правильно, да, overlay network.
Overlay network, yes.
That's
the way to bind them. The software network for Docker orchestration natively.
Ага, пу-пу-пу. Так, отлично. Так, и что, остался последний вопрос?
Nice. One last question remaining. The last question is always about memes. IT doesn't work without memes. It's fueled by memes.
Как раз для тех, у кого лапки. Значит, вот котик
So,
вот с такой штукой. Значит, что это значит? Это
here is a cat, but what does it mean? Regex, work bomb, JavaScript, or is just that cat stepping on the keys?
Блин, очень похоже, кстати, на последнее прям, ну не знаю.
It looks like
Часто на ноутбук.
stomping on the keys. My cat does that a lot.
Правда, у меня только лысая кошка, не такая, а лысая.
But my cat is bald, not like this.
Ага, все правильно, да, это форк-бомба.
It's a fork bomb.
А не кот пробежал по клавиатуре и не
It's not the cat stomping on the keys, it's not regex.
Посмотрим победителей. Сейчас, секунду.
So who's coming out on top?
Ага.
The leaderboard.
Так, отлично. Вот и победитель.
Okay, that's the winner. Let me look for prizes. They seem to be missing.
Сейчас надо поискать, что мы... Не знаю, но тут...
Let me look for the prizes.
Ты кто? Ничего себе.
И я украл.
Is it fate
Вот это да.
Чё?
who stole our prizes?
Контейнер.
Ужас, а?
And I'll break your container.
Блин, беда, очень...
What do we do now?
Я не знаю.
That's very, very bad.
Сейчас, но я сначала забэкаплю
We need a superhero. First, let me back up the results.
Так, сейчас я... Сфотаю
First.
победителей на всякий случай, надо бэкап
I'll
сделать.
take a picture.
Пойду позову супергероя. Мы сейчас...
Proper backup. Let me call in a superhero. Yeah, and do not peek.
Ща будет мощно, так.
Let me hide here. It's going to be the entry with a splash.
А что, твой супергерой запаздывает?
Ща,
Your superhero is running late.
надо завязочку.
Let's call for the hero. Yeah, I need to sort my T's and laces.
Какие-то жидкие аплодисменты.
The applause is sparse.
Здесь один супергерой.
Подожди, сейчас.
I'm the superhero in the room. Super Banana.
Сейчас.
I'll sort out the ties and you'll get it. You'll see.
А, злой банан. Опять ты что-то наделал.
So, Evil Banana, you're up to it again. Yes.
Ну мы тебе сейчас
Or
покажем.
is it Docker?
Покажем доклад про контейнер.
You'll get served. You'll see
Посмотрим,
a presentation on container security and we'll fix that container. Oh yeah, we'll see about that. Now,
Секундочку, надо только... А, вот кликер.
just a moment.
Докладик включить.
Where is my clicker? Let's put up the slides.
Я думал, короче, что банан
Yeah.
еще и презу украл. Ну, все нормально.
I thought he stole the deck as well. Just a container, it's fine.
Про вот это, про Docker Security.
We'll talk about Docker security.
Не, а можно вот так.
Let's make it epic.
Так. Да.
Now,
Вот, значит, когда обычный человек думает про безопасные
so
контейнеры,
there is a guy
это выглядит вот
is considering
вот смотрите, видите,
safe
безопасные
containers.
контейнеры.
That's what it looks like on Google.
Копс думает про
secure containers. In the DevSecOps context, it looks like this. I'll zoom in later. I tried to make a big map. Consider security, storage, CI/CD. You need to make it secure from all ends. Another secure container for you.
Сергей, да, обо мне можно будет потом почитать, но просто
So you can read up on me later, just to see how crazy I am. The Docker file
если что, они просто закартили.
doesn't seem executable. The slashes were in. So yeah.
Здесь, если будет что-то и
Apart from being a perfectionist, I have to warn you, if something bad happens during the presentation, that was research.
У супергероя должны быть и другие
My other superpower, or any superhero should have this superpower of deep insight.
То есть инструмент
Deep insight.
оно обычно вот оно как бы постепенно приходит. Сначала
You have to have a grasp of your tool. A Docker is a guy in boots, then you know that it's about containers, then you know that it's about delivery. As you write up a Docker file, you enter a part of CI/CD into that. Then you realize that it's about isolation, which contains your processes very neatly. I recall the time where you had to configure C groups manually. It's much better implemented in Docker. Then you recognize that it's a flexible tool to manage processes. Then you are enlightened in such a way that you can develop your own Docker.
Помните вот такую картинку, да, ну, наверное, 100 раз видели, да, что вот...
You've seen this picture a myriad times. Containers, VMs.
Что докер, он использует ядро системы, а не гипервизор.
Docker uses the OS's core, host OS. But how do you actually see this? How do you validate this diagram? Show of hands, does anybody know?
Лес рук, короче, здесь не видно.
Yeah.
На самом деле, вот можно
Okay.
взять, например, сделать команду uname, и видно,
You can run uname
посмотрел ядро Debian,
in Debian, for example.
посмотрел ядро, это опять...
You make sure that it's Debian.
То есть можно прямо
You run Alpine, you look at the core, and it's Debian again.
То есть не просто по картинке, а вот прям вот я вот почувствовал, то есть...
I appreciate this, where you can get a direct experience of this. My maths teacher always told me that a true mathematician never trusts but verifies. You've heard about sys benchmark security, the guys who tell you all about proper configuration of containers. So I went on their website, and they have virtualization as a tag. But it's an ages-old argument, right? I saw the times where people claim that it's about virtual environments. If we don't have emulation, then it's a container. That's my stance on this. Container is about processes and containing them. You can run Docker. I think there is this feature, live reload, yes? You stand the container, you switch off the Docker daemon, but the container is still operational. It's a process. Maybe I should report this as a bug. This tag. So, are you in or out? You have the process ID, node, host name, or you could do this.
Но она уже не сработает. Сейчас
Cat prods C group. It used to work. It doesn't work anymore because Docker uses C group too. The hierarchy is a bit different. You can do this. Proc self-mount info, and you'll see the mounts in the container.
Вот. Ну или, например, в каждом контейнере
Or
есть вот такой файл docerinf.
in each container, you have a file like this. Well, everybody knows this. Here is a real-life case. Another thing to give you first-hand experience. That's what a fork bomb does to the host. It's recursive, it calls onto itself. Don't do this in production, the host will crash, so don't do this at home. But if you put it into a container,
чтобы она там фоново крутилась,
you put it in the background with devel,
ну, собрал образ, а потом запустил.
I build an image, run it.
И видно сейчас будет, сейчас,
You'll see now, just a sec,
вот, что ничего страшного не случится. Вот я сейчас сделал docker PS, вот видно.
nothing catastrophic happens.
Docker stats, кстати, очень удобно
You
показывать.
can see that it is running.
Вот прям классная команда.
Docker stats are useful for this. Great command. You see it's
Да, и больше пидов, больше
4676. It didn't generate any more processes, but the host is still up. So Docker is already an improvement just by containing the number of processes started.
So you can enter the total number of processes which can be generated. For example, 100, no more than 100. When I learned Docker for the first time, I used Java. I said, oh, feed one will be good because there is one process. But actually, we have multi-threading, so one is too little.
Кстати, вот, и еще важно уметь пользоваться
Well,
инструментом.
and you have to be able to use that tool. For example, Trivi. Will Trivi find a fork bomb? Who thinks so?
Так, а кто думает, что не найдет?
And who thinks that it wouldn't find it?
Правильно, да, Триви не найдет, потому что Триви как раз...
Actually, Trivi will not find the fork bomb because it looks at dependencies and, well, you can see that it wouldn't find it. Klemov, the antivirus tool with its bases, so with heuristics, who thinks it will find the bomb? Who thinks that it wouldn't find it? 50-50. The most interesting thing is that some people say why Docker should be checked for virus. Containers are actually files, and you can have viruses there as well. So the antivirus wouldn't find the bomb. Now let's take shell check. Shell check, which checks the script. Who thinks that shell check will find the bomb? More people, yes. Truly, shell check will find it. Look, the function calls itself. So you have to use different tools. You must understand how they work.
Никто не успел увидеть.
What about ChatGPT? Who thinks that ChatGPT will find the bomb? Well, a lot of people. Why DeepSecOps? Bycoder, why DeepSecOps? Actually, yes. While ChatGPT will say, yes, it's a bomb, and it will describe it properly. There are a lot of tools, and we discussed them today, security tools. They can use AI, and it's useful within reasonable limits. You can take and connect shell check earlier in BDE and see the error even earlier. It will give you some acceleration. At development stage, you will see vulnerabilities very early in the process. One more thing, for example, Docker with the wrong user and container didn't start. And if we use a wrong user here, again, will it start? 50-50. Actually, the container will start if we take Ubuntu. No name will be used here. Root group, but there is no root there.
Вот. Ну и все знают, что есть куча там практик.
Everyone knows that there are different practices about the right images, and in images you can use checking, verification.
Вот такую штуку можно провернуть. Значит, я
For example, this one,
взял Ubuntu
user
и добавил
check.
такой.
I took
То есть, если
Ubuntu and
пользователь заходит в
added
систему
a
видом,
check.
то, короче,
If you
exit
go to the
один. А если
system,
систем, то
exit one.
выполняется
If another name,
команда,
then
которая там должна быть.
there is another instruction.
Давайте посмотрим.
Let's have a look.
Вот, сейчас я попробую запускать с разными пользователями, с разными видами, показать.
I'm going to use different user IDs to show you how it works. Well, I did it at night, so it took me a lot of time and effort, so it's a bit slow. So it works. No, wrong user. Also wrong user. And if you enter wrong, and if you enter the right username, it's okay. How can we bypass this check?
Easy, да. Взять, перезаписать ENTRYPOINT, все правильно говорят. И тогда...
You can rewrite the entry point, and the check will not be executed.
Как тебе такое? Нормально? Да.
It's like this.
Взяли просто... ну, я сейчас показываю, как было с рутом.
So it's with root.
Взяли рута, вот не сработало, взяли, подменили ENTRYPOINT.
So it didn't, but we changed the entry point, so we can always find something, invent something, avoid, bypass something.
Оп, вот видите, все сработало, да, действительно.
Everything worked.
Куча, помимо
So there are a lot of things, other things. You have to know them. There are different instructions, native instructions. Few people use commit, stat, commit. Why? For auditing. If something is wrong, you commit the image and then look at it, analyze it. A lot of utilities, you cannot know everything, of course. For example, you can avoid Docker file, you can use plugins, you can use other tools, a lot of things. You can use different secrets, you can reverse the image. So there is a million utilities. You can go to the repository and you will see a lot of utilities. And you'll get the whole repository full of information. Another interesting thing, the verification tools can be avoided and bypassed. For example, obfuscation. I did it by chance. I had a Java application, and today I heard that Java prelocation is binary. Wow! How can you say that? Java application is not binary. Of course, I can turn it into a binary code. And I didn't find any vulnerabilities. Although there are 12 vulnerabilities there, it's not as compact as it might be, but you can see that it doesn't see any vulnerabilities. Obfuscation is quite oftenly used now, so you can avoid the checking methods and deceive them. There are reports, presentations about it. Speakers even showed how they compare different utilities, how they react to obfuscation, and they wrote a separate utility which tries to solve the problem. For obfuscation, you can delete information about packets, all excessive information, and the verification tool will also fail. to detect. How can we avoid stat checks? You can pack the image and unpack it in runtime, and statistical analyzers wouldn't find anything because it's runtime. Then the next thing is variability. Variability, you can check all the options. For example, this is a kernel. We can have a uname or alias, and you see a different thing. Then you can have question name, and then alias will be ignored. Or you can replace the uname, or you can look at the information there. So there are different points of view, different options. Or, for example, this. We run divisor, something different in between a container and a virtual machine. And it shows that I have Linux 4, a different kernel. Why do we need all those subtleties? It's black, you're too black. Who knows? So we must think about different things, attack and defense, because those tiny things give you very interesting things. If you know more about an attack, you will be able to protect yourself against those attacks. Security knowledge, attack knowledge, then changing the image, well, it's a Lego. Legolas. Different things. For example, stress tool utility. Who used it? Stress tool utility. A typical admin based application. For a manager, stress tool is Jira with a lot of tasks. It's a stress tool. For a hacker, stress tool will help him to overload the service and hang it. For admin to see the ports, for a manager it's something like a cat. For a hacker it's a reverse shell. We're going to look through it. Then, if we look at Harbor, a repository of images, it's also a kind of application, and all the things there must be present in the Harbor, authorization and all that. You have to look at it from different angles. Don't break anything. This is a picture about not breaking anything. 3 steps. This is the DevSec engineer, DevSecOps engineer. What is he doing? He changed the tuning, everything seems to work, and then we have the following result. On the other hand, it's important not to break anything, not to break the application. For example, we have an application, we have an image, and broke part of the functionality. So this shouldn't be done at all. So it's very secure. So it should work, it should be functional. It's important to have multi-layer defense. Let's have a look. I have an example. 3 virtual machines. These are the names. What are we going to do? It's a developer. String. I like Java. And the developer used Spring. and a nice program. It draws a cow. There is a cow.
Вот, она запущена в контейнере. Вот.
It's in the container. It runs in a container.
Там еще и системный endpoint, sysinfo.
There is a system flow.
Что используют в проде, поэтому эту штуку запустил в Гавайи.
So this thing is running successfully.
Разработчик сделал, когда он сделал, он
The developer did it,
засунул
put it into the image, in the repository, in the harbor. It's there. 37 vulnerabilities only.
Не знаю, либо нет авторизации на pull и push, либо пароль утек от репозитория.
And
Сейчас, секунду, появляется.
a password is stolen, data has leaked, and there is a evil banana who creates its own image, makes a reverse shell, gets the IP,
И, короче, собирает образ. Ну, сначала, да, сейчас.
and collects the image. Now IP, and now we collect the image.
Собираем, да, вот, прокидываем туда IP-шник.
IP.
Так, сейчас, вот.
Yes, just a moment.
Проверяем, что там все нормально, что
And
вот работает. Видите,
just in case we check, connection refused because I don't listen to that port.
Вот, ну и
I am waiting until someone connects.
Сейчас, секундочку.
What does the hacker do?
Сейчас она перемотается, начнется сначала.
Now it will start from the beginning.
Так, ну давайте, да, тогда ладно, раз она уже прошла. Ну смотрите, хакер ее засунул за
Yes,
репозиторий.
the hacker put it in the repository, and when someone downloads the image,
который слушал порт. И как только кто-то скачал образ, запустил.
when as soon as someone downloaded the image,
Вот там
gets the shell,
дернуть курла нету, не беда, я скачиваю курл.
and the curl is not there, I download it in the wrong container, and here you are.
Ну и там будет видно, что вот IP-шник это
You will see that
тачки, где вот докер образ.
the IP is that of the initial point.
Вот. И,
A
кстати,
simple case, but well, anyway.
оригинальную коровку, короче, вот.
So the original cow was replaced
Никто не заметил. Вот.
by
Вот,
another
вот,
one.
примерно вот так. Значит, забэкдорили под.
So backdoor replacement, waiting, 1, 2, 3. Of course, we understand that we have to take some measures, authorization, write policies, eliminate wrong commands, and monitor strange behavior. This is a map, but I haven't finalized it yet. I used different cases here, so it's very raw now. It's not complete. I'm going to complete it and then share it with you. We have to protect what we have. The more. So if we missed everything, if we check it, if we identify it at the auditing stage, then it will be more costly, it will be more difficult. Then analytical thinking is what is needed. Yes, we have to understand what are the consequences, what kind of consequences you will have. Docker group means root. You can become a root. Or network host is also equal to root. You can connect to Docker daemon and also do a lot of bad things. Obfuscation and exploit. It's a bit abstract, but in reality, you can think about using them. Obfuscation, for instance. How can it help you? What can you do by obfuscating the image? Hacker can use a Postgres of the previous version and use the exploit, and you'll have a problem. Change the version, and then you will think it's a new Postgres, but it will be old with all the vulnerabilities, privileged containers. So we have such containers. Privy, for example, can be regarded as a privileged containers. Some agents also work with Docker Stokers, so it's a reality. One more example. For example, when an application works for a long time, what can a developer think? It works for a long time. It means that it is good and reliable. If it works for a long time, then it has enough cache. It's also good. Or if it works for a long time, it may get some vulnerabilities. It hasn't been updated for a long time. It's obvious. I have a meme here about this. Uptime hacker puts on the glass and sees it differently. Of course, in reality, protection should be a multi-layer one. There are some holes, but you cannot have a hole. If you have multi-layers, you wouldn't have a hole throughout the piece of cheese. For example, you found a certain vulnerability. Of course, you have to think about possible exploits, attacks. For example, Docker API open, or launch container, and look, it's poo-poo-poo. In order to avoid it, take countermeasures. You have to think about many things and relate these things one with another. There was a report from K2 and Positive. They polled different enterprises, and 8% say that we had something serious. 92% everything is all right. Maybe they conceal the data. Maybe they don't know about the incidents. Maybe the security people say do not disclose data about vulnerabilities and attacks. I also saw this report, and it will be available in my presentation to all of you, what kind of factors you are going to have. 92% saw nothing serious. And one more thing, what is also interesting, how long do the containers live? From a year to 4 years. It's young, and we have more and more attacks now. Recently, we have an increase by 44%, and 92 enterprises think they have no problem. So someone is wrong. 44% plus or 92% nothing happens. 89% of companies had at least one incident with Kubernetes. Then implementation, you have to install it, scale it, and experience is important here. For example, in Nexus is a repository. You can store Docker and artifacts there, and they got feature recently. You get in, and he says there are two malwares here. Press the button, get to the paid Nexus, and you will see. Well, a lot of articles were devoted to this. How can I find these two malwares? And Nexus gives it outside. You can go to their site, and it will show you, this is your vulnerability. I didn't like it at all. If someone learns that I have a vulnerability, he may use it. Of course, we eliminated it, but
там скрипт, который использовал
we have a script now which can share to all repositories, and we found this malware, and only Dr. Webb found it, nobody else. After that experience, I saw if I use Harbor or something else, will Harbor publish this data outside? Which data is going to be published and which is not?
Еще, кстати, на эту мысль меня натолкнул доклад, это я был...
Also, I heard a presentation about virus total. I said, well, it's experience. You have to go to conferences. We had a DevOps conference, and two persons said that in one company, images are collected for a long time, Java, a lot of checks, a check of basic image, and in order to accelerate the process, they replace the basic image and check the application without the base image. I didn't realize it can be done. So matrix, Mitra, container matrix, you can see how can one break into. Look at the trends. We have more and more tools now. And they can, well, the more data the tool has, the more analysis they will provide, the more vulnerabilities they will find. What else we have to know? How many things do we have to know? So don't turn into this monster who knows everything. It's important. Security should be able to scale up and horizontally. Then the evil banana is not going to come. He says he will come. Okay, he will come and go without doing anything bad. So knowledge should be scaled. It's a super game. There was a magic potent which makes a person a superhero. Yes, this superhero, super potent, is knowledge. Have it, share it, increase it. I thought a lot about this metrics. I use the word built image, but I thought, well, how can I use a different name? I divide it into three parts. First is getting knowledge, then application of knowledge, and then implementation. Security is here. But it's wrong because security should be everywhere. It should be global. Also, I thought about observability, tracing, logging, soft security operations center. We need practice here. I am thinking about something to be attached to usual observability, monitoring, focused on security. I think it's important. DevOps, it should look this way. Security should embrace everything. Useful things, you will have all the links. And this is my channel. Please join, please subscribe, and I'll have a link to my presentation. And there are a lot of things in my channel, security is included. Roadmaps, previously it looked like that, now they added LLM.
так, чтобы она прикольные карты
so that it would show the direction. So I had a huge map about container security,
потому что она более общая модель.
better than ChatGPT paid.
Интересно, можно попробовать.
So
Также
you can
прикольно
try that
пользоваться
too.
GPT, он реально много чего показывает. И,
GPT can show you a lot of things.
вот.
It can
Кстати, если взять вот эти
describe a
которые
lot of
сделаны,
things, a lot of
то
interesting
остальным тоже можно
things
по каждому там пройтись
per
и
each
сказать
subject.
GPT, там,
And
проведите
each
вот
square
сборку.
can be
Захарденить. То есть в этом плане
expanded, and you can go into detail, and GPT can go into detail. Sometimes it gives you wrong data, actually. When I prepared this
у
big
меня там была
picture,
вкладка,
I
сейчас, секунду,
had
там была, у меня там была вкладка development, и я положил
development,
ссылку на то, как
insert,
оказался
and
в докере.
uh,
И у докера, кстати,
I
статья, у докера довольно прикольная документация, я думаю, посмотрю.
in Docker there is
Docker's
an
documentation is
interesting
good,
presentation.
not great.
I went
I'll
there,
look it up.
I
Why
did it
not?
at night.
How to do images? It was at night, 2 a.m. And it says that there is a bug. We have a bug. But it's in Go, actually. If you have a large UID for a user in a container, it'll take up disk space. You click the issue, and it's been there since 2015. You have a sparse file for this, that's the reason. When unpacked in the image, it just floods the disk. I tried to replicate it, but I couldn't. I asked ChatGPT. I asked for an example, it gave me something. Doesn't work still. I do the imaging, I do exports. It doesn't work. It spits out something different. This time it'll work for sure. I asked, maybe it was fixed? Yes, it was indeed. Always say yes. I asked for where it was fixed. It doesn't know. It gives me another example. So that's what's slowed me down in developing that huge board when it's good enough to show. Attend conferences. Once again, community is key. Ask questions, answer questions, share cases. Moscow, St. Petersburg, Nizhny Novgorod. DEF CON was there. That's one step. Not all conferences have to be in these 2 or 3 cities. Russia is big, and you need to develop your local community as well. We've hosted some conferences in Rostov as well. We have our colleagues locally as well. It's important to do this locally. In your hometown, develop the community, share experience, organize hackathons like we do. Here is cybersecurity, that was our conference. And we invited people from larger conferences as well. We had star speakers. I think it's a global effort, as it should be, and it's very important. Now, conclusions. Security is multidimensional. We have to tend to all the things and the way it impacts administration, development, products. These are different dimensions that you need to tend to. There are different depths, so do your research. You need to be able to take different perspectives and then see the connections. To scale knowledge, you have to share. Once again, this brings me back to community. Now, Banana, come back up. You're fixed. You're on the slide this time. Let me fix the container. We haven't looked at it yet, how to fix this. I'll take away all that's not needed. This can be removed. Let's open the container. I'll sort it. This is not needed at this time. Whatever is this? Bananas. This is from you, right? Yeah, okay, let's hand them out. Some more. Okay, banana handing out bananas. Who wants this? A ham. Here you go. What else is there?
Что, короче, тут... стикер.
So many things.
Стикеры это
We have
попозже.
stickers,
Это попозже.
but that's for later.
Так, сейчас. Блин, ну столько всего.
Now,
Мусора много какого-то.
Сейчас.
too many things. A lot of rubbish as well.
Червь, смотри, троян.
Oh, a Trojan,
На,
a worm.
кидывай. Так. Ну все, смотри, ничего лишнего.
Let's get rid of it.
Только теперь
So,
осталось приложенька. Вот смотрите. Это
we have the
Kotlin,
app,
Kotlin,
and that's it.
приложенька, вот она осталась.
A Kotlin app.
Там на дне немножко Linux еще, но не буду.
And on the bottom, there is some Linux. I'm not
Нормально.
going to touch it.
Контейнер. Ну чё, давай
So
нам
we
теперь
fixed the
призы.
container.
Так вот же
Let's do the prizes now.
Точно.
Here they are.
Призы. Так,
Yeah,
ладно.
these are the
Нам
prizes.
призы раздадим. Сейчас я тогда...
Okay,
Где у нас победители? Сейчас, подожди, я забыл.
let me refer to the leaderboard backup.
Первое место, смотри.
First spot, first place.
Где он?
The script.
Да.
Hi, alert, please come up.
Прям, смотри, праздник, прям Новый год, короче. Наложил.
It's like
основательно.
Christmas.
Так.
Что, супергерой, что мы подарим?
Поздравляшки, сейчас
So,
расскажу.
what's the prize? Congrats,
Так, значит,
great
правило
job.
простое, смотри.
The rule is simple.
Я не люблю призы, знаешь, когда вот за первое место вот это, за второе
I
вот
don't
это, за
like
третье.
different prizes for different
Смотри,
places.
что значит есть? Значит, есть
So
банан.
here is what we do. We have bananas.
Значит, есть вот билет на
That goes without saying.
Немножко помялся, но
There is a
он всё
ticket
ещё
to
есть. Вы, значит,
Jugu,
джуговскую конфу, короче, можно поехать вот по
a
такой.
ticket to any jug
Вот,
conference.
есть там чё? Есть книжки, короче.
We have some books,
Есть прозрачное ПО, безопасные системы.
transparent software, secure systems, the worm, and some teas,
Так, что есть? Вот такие. Нет безопасности.
t-shirts.
Вот, и чистый код.
Security guy says no. I'd have this. MRL.
Держи, давай сфотаемся с победителем сейчас вот здесь.
Let's take a picture with the winner.
Здесь, собственно, и фотку было видно, и там, и там.
Banana and banana and banana.
Похлопаем.
A round of applause.
Все, спасибо, поздравляю
Спасибо.
еще раз.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Второй, сейчас открываем
Давай,
бэкап.
читай.
Так, это
Place to
смотри, бу-пу-пу.
Так,
А где
пу-пу-пу.
пу? Да.
username poo poo poo.
Так,
Please come up.
ну смотри, правило то же самое, вот смотри.
В общем, выбирай, да.
Так.
Мы уже озвучили.
Значит,
Rules of the game are the same. Anything you like.
маечки. Так,
Смотри, футболки
Всё,
какие,
поздравляшки,
популярные.
да.
T-shirts are very popular. Yeah.
поздравляю.
A round of applause again.
Так, так, кто у нас еще есть? Сейчас,
Давай.
сейчас.
Who's next?
Алексантос, это кто?
Username Alexanthus.
Алексантос, а вон идет, да. Так,
Давайте.
поздравляшки, похлопаем.
Congrats. Round of applause.
Выбираю приз,
Ай.
где он, что есть.
Make your pick.
Я вот это посоветовал, смотри. Не, левее.
This comes highly recommended. To the left. To the left.
Дорогой приз, да? Ну смотри, все.
The most expensive one. Okay, congrats.
Так, кстати, фото.
Taking a picture.
Все, так. Спасибо. Так, ну смотри,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Сейчас часть за вопрос.
We have more prizes.
И вот еще давайте четвертое место влезло.
Let's do some with questions. And I have place 4 on the picture. Toaster.
Тостер, видимо, ушел, да?
Выходи.
Так,
Must have left. Okay,
тогда на этом все. Давайте вопросы.
that's it. Let's continue with questions now.
А, кстати, я пока еще, стоп, секунду. А где вот кликер, да?
Just a moment.
Кстати, я же обещал.
I need
вот
this.
обещал, смотрите. Значит, вот это
Promised.
ссылка на презентажку. А вот здесь
The
можно
links.
оставить фидбэкчик.
My slides and the feedback form.
И давайте вопросы. За вопросы еще будут призы.
Questions. There are going to be prizes for questions as well.
А
Go
микрофон.
ahead.
Вопросы, да. Вот. Есть микрофоны.
Please use the mic.
В ходе в другом. Просто подходите и задавайте.
2 mics, 1 per aisle. Come up, ask a question. Hi, my name is Ivan.
Rootless или Podman?
It's a contested issue. So, rootless Docker or Podman? I don't like either.
И как бы
Podman
людей, которые очень много потом с этим
is very specific,
он сильно ограниченный. То есть на
and
самом деле
rootless is very limited.
более безопасно. Вот, например,
There are different ways to make it more secure. You have remapping of GUIDs.
из контейнера рутом не вылезешь. Но у него ограничение.
You can set it up like that you cannot go out of the container through root. But rootless is limited. It depends on the case. Rootless will probably be what's required by regulators. And FIFO networks, as an intermediary in the network, is very restricting. And Podman now has faster network interface. Okay, needs to be investigated. It depends on your use case. The first thing to mind is that you don't break anything, and then the requirements of the regulators. Because all of these solutions come with limitations. I do GUID remappings. I don't use rootless. In Podman, you'll need OpenShift for clusters. It all depends. You might find some features lacking in the future. Great question. There are cases where for training you want rootless to prevent students from getting out of containers. So yeah, again, based on the use case, just make sure that the functionality is enough for you and that it doesn't break anything. Thank you. Let me issue the prices right away. Come up. Take your pick. Stickers are for everybody. It's a free-for-all. Great. Let's take a picture as well with the banana. Picture with the banana. Are they taking pictures or are they just posing? Okay. Other questions? I'll hand out the stickers. I'll let them be there. Hi. Thank you very much for the presentation. Great memes, very interesting, very engaging. I have a question about the container. What happens if you run a container within a container? I never did this. You can use Docker and Docker. But why? That's my follow-up. Are there cases of tinned? It's not recommended because you have to mount a socket. It's not very secure. For compilation, you can use plugins that do not require that many privileges. For example, in Java, you have Jib from Google. You put it right in, and it uses Docker API. It doesn't need all the rights. Docker socket has full set of rights to manage Docker and administrate. We had an automation case, automation of the build, and we had a container and Git on the runner, and we had Docker and Docker to compile a container there, or stand the container there. You can try Scopeo, a utility. Just look for utilities that require less rights. And there are open policy agents as well. You can use it with Docker and the plugin with authorization and fine-tune your daemon. But it'll take some effort. It's not as straightforward. Okay, thank you. Do come up. Take your pick. Question to the right. Go up to the mic if you want to ask a question. The cat? Well, okay. Kotlin. It's Kotlin's mascot. Are they taking pictures? Great. Round of applause. Oh, there you are. Thank you. How careless can you be when you build internal LPEs in Docker where you have multi-users? Multi-user mode in Docker. And there is external access. Yeah, that's very bad. If someone is on Docker group, they're like root. There is root, there is a separate user that runs the application. How careless can you be with your OS inside? Overlapping secrets, for example, that are open to the world, access. Access to scripts, it's not secured. One user has access to write root scripts. And okay, now I get the question. Don't give out too many privileges. Any additional privilege is a problem. You can be as careless as you want, but you shouldn't. The question is to harden Dockers in AppSec. So, do you need to contain it, suppress it, as you build an app? It's good if there is just one app, not as challenging. But when there is a set of apps,
Как минимум надо взять, посмотреть.
follow the best practices. Look at his benchmark security on hardening Docker. There are utilities to analyze images. Use several. Shouldn't be any secrets there. Use truffle hack to search for secrets. There are many utilities, and you need to beat out such issues, but until you get to the point where you start breaking down the functionality. If there are superfluous utilities in the image, an attacker can exploit them. The more fat you have on your Docker image, the larger your surface of attack, so you need to trim it down. What about roots, Docker roots? There used to be this vulnerability. Are there any others except for root escape?
Побег из докера.
Escape from the Docker. It can be done without a vulnerability. You can use native tools for that if there are too many privileges. So it's down to configuration. Yes. Get good. That's the bottom line. Any tool can be used for the worst or for the better. Yes, come up for your prize, and then there is another question. We are running out of prizes, just bananas. Thank you for this cheerful presentation at the end of the day.
Не, это нельзя, это мы раздадим.
Потом вы это
Это не
просто
так
так
лихо.
This is to be handed out.
2, 3, вот так вот.
This, that, and that. And bananas, of course. Okay, congrats.
Все, давайте сфотаемся, если кто-то фотает там.
Let's take a picture.
Или потом с видео можно сделать, короче, скриншот.
Or you can have screenshots from the video. A simple question. As a customer, we do not configure Docker installations, but most IT systems run on Docker, pilots, and so on. As a customer, what should we do? What checks should we run? Privy, other things, to be sure. Or do we need an expert to run the checks? You can invite contracted experts. You can invite pen testers as well. It's great that you think about this. Do not trust the vendors. You had cases where vendors can send you images with all dependencies, for example. Don't trust the vendors. Verify everything. Apart from Trivia, there is Gripe, Sneak, other tools. Use them all. But it's not just a set of scanners. Run an antivirus. If you have access to the code, check it in SAST, dependencies. It's multifaceted. You can check it in the runtime. Run it, load it, see what happens. More checks, more better. If you don't have your own specialist, can be contracted. If your security guys approve. There are people who get paid to help people like this. Thank you for your question. Take a pick. It's time that we've selected the best question, but they were all great. This, yes? A conference? No? All bananas. Or this. Worm. Let's take a picture. Round of applause.
Все. Все, да, давайте похлопаем тогда.
Okay.
Если вопросов нету. Или есть?
If there are no more questions. Oh, another one. You mentioned Docker and Docker. There is a solution. How to fix this? You can use Canico. But are there other good practices as alternative? We used Jib, an alternative to Canico. You can look them up. There are many tools.
Прям полазить, там можно прям еще...
Go to that repository, awesome Docker, and you'll have a list.
Можно собирать, ну, во-первых, можно настраивать всякие политики для докера.
You can configure different policies for Docker in plugins.
Что-то свое написать, конечно, рискованно.
You can develop
Можно написать,
something on your own, but it's risky.
можно всегда поисследовать
It
какие-то
might
варианты.
turn out worse than what's available. But the options are out
Главное,
there.
чтобы не было много привилегий, потому что в докере по умолчанию...
Just limit the privileges. By default, there are too many in Docker.
В принципе, какие аргументы
Yes,
для
true.
демонстрации помогали
What
коллег,
Arguments or demos
DevOps'ов,
helped you
над
in negotiating with colleagues from DevOps
более секьюрному?
to migrate from Docker and Docker to something more secure.
Ну, как я, например, делаю. Я внутри у себя
Well,
провожу
what I do
Docker security.
is that I organize Docker security trainings inside. I show the consequences of why some things are a no-no.
Плохо. Почему плохо? Вот смотрите.
You cannot just say that Docker and Docker is bad. You then show it.
В CI что-то плохое
You show an
будет,
attack,
вообще будет эффектно. То есть, да,
execute something bad in CI.
хороший инженер, он всегда...
It has an effect. A good engineer
Вот так.
always has a justification,
Тогда люди поймут. И так,
a detailed justification.
и своим коллегам, но еще, например,
This applies to other situations. If you need to prove something to security people, they don't have to know this all.
там отделы, там разные.
DevSecOps and information security
Поэтому, то есть, надо
can be two different teams.
вот, всегда доказать, да.
Согласен.
Yeah.
В
Yes,
истории
agreed.
этих переговоров с коллегами достаточно ли было приводить
Is it enough in such negotiations
ютубчики
to
Тоже вполне
reference
возможно. Если, например,
existing POCs or
аргументы, ну, просто
online materials?
аргументы, они делятся
Yeah,
на градации,
sure.
да, то есть понятно, что,
But
может сказать,
different
«А,
arguments have
вот,
different effects.
но когда
You can refer them to some other materials, but
увидят, это,
when
конечно,
you
всегда лучше.
show it firsthand,
Можно и то, и
it's
другое
always
с
better.
разных сторон
But
показать, да.
both is fine.
Доказывать именно
All these things are fine.
Вот, но это
You
не
just
значит,
need
что,
to
допустим,
argue your point.
долго реализовывать вот эти
It doesn't
все
mean
там показы,
that
примеры. Надо начать с чего-то,
if you
главное начать.
give all the examples, it will work right away.
Показывать. Возможно,
Maybe it will take several demonstrations, more than once or twice.
а возможно, потом ты еще потом сделаешь доклад и покажешь людям
Maybe you'll make a presentation at a conference as well,
где-нибудь. И это тоже круто будет.
or run a training session at a conference.
Там за призом. Так,
Come up, pick your prize.
давайте похлопаем. Вот. На самом деле,
Round of applause.
четкий приз это как раз вот поехать на
I
конференцию.
think you get the best prize.
Конференции,
Visiting a conference, any junk conference.
чтобы бумажка просила
Message me
билет. Да, в Telegram, да, и там вот
to swap this voucher for an actual ticket. They run a lot of different conferences.
Давайте сфотаем.
Here's your banana.
Так, Валера, ну ты с другой стороны тогда
Let's
иди.
take a picture.
Вот так. Все, это я, да.
Yeah.
Все. Вот так вот. Давайте похлопаем, держи.
A round of applause.
Мне пришли, сейчас я подойду тогда, и ты мне пришлешь.
Message me.
Да, все,
We'll exchange contact details. Let's call it a day. A round of applause for everybody. Thank you all.
И бананы, значит, кому нужны стикеры?
Come up for bananas and stickers if you like. Please, come one, come all.